Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not rude. It doesn't boast. Love also forgets wrong.
I will always love you how I do.
It's been hard, hasn't it?
Let go of a prayer for you.
How you doing with everything?
I'm good.
Just a sweet word.
You know it's okay if you're not.
The table is prepared for you.
I'm trying to give you the tools to succeed in this world. It's not easy out there. Everything I do is for y'all. Everything.
I know you're under a lot of pressure right now, but I'm just getting really scared.
But you'll have this place to call home.
Everything's gonna be okay, all right?
Always.
We're in this together.
Look at you! What you mean, look at me? I'm the one that's trying to hold this family together.
You pushed him!
Lord knows I've held on to way too much hate in my life. But all we have is now. All we have is now.
Hey guys, how's it going? I just got done watching Waves. Waves came out in about November 2019 from A24 by director Trey Edward Schultz. I really thought that I was going to like this movie a lot. I saw trailers for it. I remember when it was coming out and I was really stoked. And I think, again, it was one of those movies that just kind of like skated by me. I really wanted to go see it in theaters. And now I'm really glad that I didn't. I remember, I had to watch this movie in 2 sittings. I watched the first half almost directly halfway through, and I couldn't handle it. There was a point, it was such a difficult movie to stomach and sit through, and there's just a lot of, I don't want to spoil anything, but there are just a lot of bad decisions being made, and just like, it was very well done. The movie was well shot and well executed as a whole, and the soundtrack is great, but that was another thing that kind of got on my nerves towards the end, was that it just seemed like this movie was made as an excuse to have an amazing soundtrack, because you hear a whole bunch of different Kanye West, there's a bunch of A$AP Rocky songs in there, there's like a bunch of Tame Impala songs, Animal Collective has like 2 songs in there, Radiohead has a song, Frank Ocean's all over the place. I mean, it's just such a star-studded soundtrack, and the movie seems like it kind of plays secondary to the actual soundtrack itself. And because there's so many songs where you go, oh, I know that song, oh, I know that song, whatever. And I mean, here and there it's okay, but it seems like it just is consistently going, from song to song to song. And it's not like, if you have a very prolific song, a song that a lot of people know, you should allow it to play its own role in the movie, and it doesn't really do that. So that was another thing. I mean, there's maybe a few Animal Collective songs that do sort of play their own role in the film, but there's like IFHY by Tyler, the Creator, plays during a scene right after another song had just ended. And so the movie, the pacing seems to be, the whole thing, the cinematography is beautiful. Let me get a sentence out. The cinematography is absolutely gorgeous in this movie, but the only other thing is that there's a lot of it's just music and visuals, which is great if you're into that kind of thing, but it's not what I was expecting. And once again, this movie was advertised as, at least to me, the way that I had anticipated seeing it, seemed to be a lot more laid back and sort of like almost like a meditative film. And this movie is so difficult to get through. It's just the way that it's very tense, and you're just watching things go bad a lot. And that's kind of, it's like, okay, so if you guys have seen Kids by Harmony Korine and Larry Clark, it resembles that a lot. At least the first half does. And, I finally was like, I need to sit down and finish the movie, because as much as I feel like I can't finish it, I need to finish it just out of respect for the film and the filmmaker, whatever. And the second half of the film, I will say is much better, or goes along much more smoothly than the first half of the film, because it just seemed like the pacing was off and that there were a lot of different things happening, but nothing was like sticking for too long. So it didn't really, at least for me, it didn't feel like there was a whole lot of like impact with, when things were going to shit. I wasn't as connected to a lot of the different characters just because there was so much going on. I just didn't feel like I was as invested as I could have been if those same actions had happened, but a little bit more depth was being developed prior. And so that was the thing with the second half of the film, was that, once again, not going to spoil anything, but there is a very pivotal moment in the movie where things totally change, and the entire format of the film and just overall feeling and vibe of the film totally take a flip. And I think that's where it really starts to pick up. I did read a few reviews of this movie in between the two viewings, and a lot of what I saw were people saying that the movie does pick up towards the end, or not towards the end, but in the second half. Obviously new characters are developed, and it really it picks it up a little bit. And I will say, granted, that is the case, but I was still stuck with this weird taste in my mouth that it still came across as something that was like, is like a pseudo excuse just to have a really amazing soundtrack. And don't get me, like I said, the soundtrack is amazing if you're into like SZA or anything like that. It's really, really great. But it just, it didn't come, it sort of, I have a hard time explaining this, but I guess when it first was happening, I was really stoked, and I'm hearing Tame Impala songs and I'm going, okay, this is great. Like, this is so sick, right up my alley. And then by the end of it, it's just, the songs and the overall soundtrack was being shoehorned. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. And that's at least my takeaway from it, was that it seemed like they were really trying to prove something with the soundtrack, so they were just shoehorning in Chance the Rapper, Kid Cudi, whatever, Kanye West, A$AP Rocky, all these different people, just to shoehorn its individuality, I guess. And I don't know, maybe I need to watch it again, maybe, because a lot of people, has gotten like very positive responses, so maybe I need to give it another shot. But in the meantime, I couldn't get really, really behind it, and not because it's not a good movie, but more so just because it's just a difficult movie to watch. I used to love these movies when I was younger. I would love movies like Requiem for a Dream, or movies like Kids, Gummo, whatever, and all these different movies, because it's like, oh wow, I feel horrible watching this. But the fact that I'm able to feel horrible really says something about like the artist behind the film, whatever it is, the person making the film. And at this point, it's like, I can still appreciate that, and appreciate the fact that like he's able to very successfully convey a feeling or an overall vibe throughout the film. But now it starts to like, I just ask myself the question of like, I don't know if I really want to be feeling like this. And I think that's a big thing that you just kind of have to ask yourself. So maybe I am changing my perception of the film a little bit, but I think it's more just, I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I sat down and started watching the movie. So I would highly suggest that you guys just sort of prepare yourselves, and maybe just expect the unexpected a little bit, because once again, through all the trailers and all these different, press releases, parts for the movie or whatever, it has no recollection of like what the movie, like how the movie actually played out. So I think that is definitely something to address before getting into it. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the movie. Hopefully we'll be doing more of these reviews soon. So, I mean, the total shots in the dark, I just release them as they come. So we'll see how that goes. But, yeah, thank you guys so much.